The term nikah in its literal sense means joining, ejaculation, and sexual intercourse. This is the meaning in the verse. It is only the zani who has nikah with the zaniya. In other words, the male having unlawful sexual intercourse will have as a partner a woman who is also having unlawful sexual intercourse. If the literal meaning of the term nikah is not interpreted as sexual intercourse, but as the contract of marriage, then the meaning of the verse will change, and it will mean that a person who usually has unlawful intercourse will marry a woman who is also of this type. Thus, a bad man will marry a bad woman. This is obviously not the case, as many a womanizer has married a chaste woman. Al-Shafi believed that the word in its literal and technical or legal meaning applies to the contract of marriage alone. The Hanafi jurists do not agree. They maintain that the term nikah applies to the contract of marriage in its figurative sense and not in its purely literal sense. The disagreement may have its impact on detailed legal opinions, but here we may say that the Hanafis adopted the figurative meaning of the term in the sense of contract for the technical and legal meaning. In its technical meaning, the Hanafis define nikah as follows: a contract formed for granting milk mutah to the man over the woman, that is, ownership of physical access to the woman. In this definition, the use of the term woman excludes marriage to a man, eunuch, and jinn. The word man, on the other hand, should exclude marriage to the Quran, as is done unlawfully in some parts of Pakistan. The term contract excludes the literal meaning of nikah as intercourse, because the contract of marriage is possible when the woman is in a state of menses or postnatal bleeding, while intercourse is not allowed in such a state. The term milk or ownership also implies that no ownership is established when there is a legal obstacle, which is meant to exclude women in the prohibited categories. The term milk mutah, or the enjoyment of exclusive physical access, is intended to distinguish it from milk ain, which is ownership of the corpus itself, as in the case of female slaves. As stated, the purpose of designating it as ownership is to indicate exclusive physical access. The wife, too, has right of physical access to the husband, but such access is not exclusive, because the husband can have more than one wife, while the wife cannot have more than one husband. It is to be noted that permission of physical access to the woman does not mean that the husband can force the woman into having sex, thus resulting in what is called marital rape. It is true that some later jurists have stated that the husband can compel his wife to have intercourse with him if there is no legal basis justifying her refusal. This view, however, cannot be justified. Marriage, according to the jurists, is a bundle of rights that are available on the basis of partnership, sharika. The wife has a right to demand sex from the husband, and the husband likewise has a right to demand sex from his wife, but this is done on the basis of partnership and participation. The wife's right to demand sex includes her right to demand that she be impregnated. The element of force does not come into this relationship of partnership and participation. Force is only possible in the case of slavery, and it is for this reason that Islamic law does not permit marriage between a man and his slave girl, because the prior ownership that is coercive prevents the form of ownership prescribed for marriage, and which is based upon participation. Those who argue on the basis of the verse, "Your wives are as a tilth unto you," should know that tilth cannot be approached when it is not ready or not willing to participate. Beating the wife into submission is not allowed. In addition to this, tilth also means as commanded by Allah, that is through the vagina, and unnatural sex is not permitted. Tilth is meant for the production of offspring, and this is only possible through the natural and lawful manner permitted and prescribed by Allah.